Good evening. Welcome to Meldon Law Monday. What a weekend, and week of football. Much to talk about there, and some hope as well. I'm sure you got a few thoughts. We always love it when you come and join us here on this site and give us your comments, and we'll ask the questions of the QB tonight. He's back. Shane Matthews, the quarterback, will be here in just a minute. In fact, he's standing by right now. We'll talk about all the things we saw. Well, you saw what happened to Texas. Was that a terrible call or what? We'll talk about that. Thought he was a good play caller. Well, sometimes good play callers make mistakes. And then, of course, the four pro games, especially the Bucks game. All that coming your way. Stand by. It's going to be a good night on Melon on Monday. Shane Matthews joins us in just a minute right here on this network, along with later Franz Beard, and we will have Kevin Brockway. So stand by.
Yes, it's time again for Buddy Martin. Call him up and tell him what you're thinking. But be kind because he's doing the best he can.
Better, stronger, faster.
Mama says that alligators are ornery because they got all them teeth but no toothbrush.
Hey, what if the voice calls while you're gone?
Take a message.
Bye.
You ready, champ?
I'm ready for this my whole life.
I'm incapable of small talk. But that's why you love me, right?
Kind of intimidating to be in the presence of so many great athletes.
Evening, welcome to the program. Hope you're warm tonight. It's been a cold one around here in the Panhandle. It's been kind of chilly as well. Hope it's warmer where you are. I hear it's not. We'll be talking to Shane Matthews. I know he's not happy because it messes with his golf weather. He'll tune in and tell us what's going on there. News tonight: Florida's backup quarterback gone. At least they thought he was a backup quarterback, but you had to be quick around here. Things happen fast. The really thing I admire about Shane, he doesn't really get all bogged down in that stuff. Recruiting, transfer portal, it's here today and gone tomorrow. It changes so quickly. Guys like me can't keep up, and I'm not sure Shane Matthews wants to, but maybe he's got it right. Evening to the quarterback, Shane Matthews. Evening, Shane. How you doing, buddy?
Good, buddy. How are you?
Good. I enjoyed the week. A lot of good football and basketball, by the way. Lots of stuff to watch on TV. I know you saw part of things and got your golf in. Let's start with you. I've got a bunch of questions for you, and if you got a question for Shane, pop on here and give it to him. I'm sure he'll be glad to answer it. By the way, I have seen some really bad calls by good play callers, but we saw one by Sarkisian, which some people are calling second and dumb. You remember fourth and dumb? That was Doug Dickey a long time before you got Florida. So we'll talk about the play callers. Shane, what stuck out to you about all the football games this week?
Well, Notre Dame and Penn State are the same team, in my opinion. Neither one of them can throw the football worth a damn, quite honestly. I don't know if I've ever seen a college football game where a receiving corps didn't catch a pass at all in the game, and that was Penn State.
Really? That's something? Wow.
Yeah, 0 catches for 0 yards. Ohio State, Texas was a heck of a game. Came down. Texas had a chance there at the end to tie it up. Sarkisian, I think, is one of the greatest play callers in college football, if not the best. The play people say is dumb or whatever, they say it's dumb because it didn't work, right? I had no problem with it. I watched it because they got stuffed on first down running. How many times, buddy, have people called your show in the last 10 years? Doesn't matter who the coach was for the Gators. Why the hell do we run up the middle all the time? Right?
Yeah, no, I get that, and you get it a lot, and I understand.
Yeah.
But this one I have to question, given the defense he had, everything pointed. That one play you couldn't throw was wide.
Well, no. They had everybody in the box. I thought it was a good call. The guy, they either missed the blocks or Ohio State player made a play. I know that as me as a play caller, the guy that I play for here, anytime the box was loaded, he says check outside sweep, and didn't work. Sarkisian's got to live with it. But again, if they score there, who knows what happens? But people think play calling is dumb for the plays that don't work.
That's true. That's true. They do. But it's their right. And I think you leave yourself open on that one. You're going to make mistakes. I understand it. I understand it from the standpoint of the play caller, but that one stuck out. Just like Dickey's call he made in 1975, the Georgia game, they called it 4th and dumb. He's labeled with that. Dickey's a Hall of Fame coach. He stuck with that tag forever. He's the guy who gave Steve Spurrier his first coaching job. But 4th and dumb will be on his epitaph. That's what it is. So it's what it is. You live by the fire, you die by the fire. You're a play caller. You know this. If it works, you're a hero. If not, you're a bum. But that was not a good call by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, or just wasn't good execution. Little do we know if they didn't execute it well. I mean, people can look at the interception that I threw to lose to Alabama in the 92 SEC championship game. Was it a bad call?
That was different. The guy was hiding.
No, it's bad execution. It wasn't a bad call. It's bad execution.
It was by your wide receiver who didn't run the
well,
right route.
The quarterback threw it too. He made a bad choice. But I'm just saying.
What you saw in that moment, second, you didn't see the guy behind him.
Yeah, but I try to look at the whole picture because I know how hard it is to call plays.
Yeah.
And I mean, Coach Spurrier tell you he's caught a bunch of dumbass call plays also that didn't work. So, I mean, it's just that's the nature of the beast, as you said. But if he walks in and scores and ties up the ball game, who knows what happens? But it didn't happen.
Yeah. Well, there was an interesting ball game right down to the end, very even, and until they make those mistakes. And then to make the fumble, guy made a great play from Ohio State. He did all things, strips the ball from his former roommate, takes 83 yards, and as they're walking off the field, the QB yours said to him, "Screw you." And he knew it. Of course, he knew it was a great play. It was. Hey, it'll go down as the greatest play in the Ohio State's history.
You think?
Yeah. If they win the national championship, especially.
Huh.
I think they might.
Well, they probably still win the game if he doesn't run back a touchdown, right? That was a 4th down play. So, I don't know. I don't know enough about Ohio State football history to think that could be the best play ever, but it could be.
I mean, when a guy on defense takes his 83 yards to ice the game, that's pretty cool. Mark wants you to be the offensive coordinator, Shane.
No, thank you, because people will be bashing me just like they're bashing Steve Sarkisian and Billy Napier and Lane Kiffin. And, it's not a perfect job. There are going to be mistakes made.
Well, Shane, you can't hide in that shell, and you never have. There are
mistakes. There's no chance of that happening. B, because I would not be asked to do that. C, I would not recruit any players or want to have anything to do with recruiting players. I love calling plays, but I also like playing the golf.
Well, Shane, don't BS me. If they called you tomorrow and said, "We've decided you're going to be the offensive coordinator of Florida, we're going to pay you 1.5."
They're going to have to pay me more than that.
What?
Yep.
You wouldn't take it for 1.5?
Nope.
Holy mackerel! You must be doing.
And I wouldn't have to. I'd put in my contract. I would not have to recruit one player.
Well, there ain't no job like that.
Nope. That's why I'm enjoying what I'm doing.
Shane, as a former backup quarterback, how important is the backup? And I think I know your answer. Did you hear the news today?
What, a backup got hurt in the NFL or something? I don't know.
Oh, no, Deshaun Purdy, Florida's backup quarterback from Charlotte, whatever.
Yeah,
is back in the portal.
Good for him. Good luck. I don't understand. Look, I don't know. I know nothing about that kid, but he wasn't their starter the whole time. You know who else played at Charlotte last year? Starting quarterback?
think I read it someplace.
Max Browne, who transferred from Florida,
Yeah.
who now just transferred to West Virginia. So
Yeah.
I don't know how good the kid is. Obviously, Billy, I'm not going to question their evaluation process because they brought in a lot of good players, but I could care less.
Well, I think you need to have a good backup quarterback in the SEC. You know that. And it's nice when you have a veteran back there.
Well, he played a
I
little
would
bit at
like
Charlotte. I don't know how much better he's going to be than the true freshman coming in.
Well, I think I'd like to go get myself a fifth-year senior someplace who could
Oh,
play.
you're not
And
going
in there.
to find one of them.
Oh yeah, they're out there. Are you kidding me? These guys that they're out there.
If they're a fifth-year senior playing somewhere, buddy, they're not going to come here to sit on the bench.
Well, maybe he wants out of where he is.
Maybe. So we'll see. I don't see that happening.
Yeah. All right. Let's one more point about that. They said Notre Dame couldn't do it. Notre Dame did it. Now, all credit due to the coach and the players. They're a heck of a good football team, fun to watch. I know it galls all the SEC fans, but I got to give it up to them, Shane. They had a great year.
Yeah, Marcus Freeman's done a great job. I don't think they're a great football team. I think they do a lot of little things well. They've been very fortunate. They've won the turnover battle in almost all their games this year. I don't think there's any chance they keep the game close against Ohio State.
Okay.
They don't have enough firepower.
Yeah. Back to Baker Mayfield. I told you what a great game he played last week. You didn't see it. And I thought he played really well this week, and he played really well the second half. He's fumbled twice all year, and this was the second time. But I want to ask you about the call. It was probably a great call. The youngster they got, who's a really fast kid, number 15, Jalen McMillan. Let him call. Cohen's made some great calls. I like his calls. They call that handoff of a jet sweep on their own 15, and they fumble the what do you want to call it? It really wasn't a handoff. I guess it was. And you never know what causes it. As a former old quarterback, I know those kind of things are really important on timing. You got to get them just right. And this one obviously was dropped. You don't know if it was whose fault it was. Mayfield says it was his. But the fact is, you got a youngster who's played great against Commanders taking a handoff in that situation. Should that factor in?
No, I mean, hell, you practice all the time, and it's freaking week 18. Look, fumbles happen. I didn't see the play, but I was asleep. I'm going to Google it right now. But it was a jet sweep from under center or in the shotgun.
I believe it was the shotgun.
Oh, you should never fumble that. That should be a pitch anyway. You should never hand that ball off in today's football. It should always be a pitch because if he does drop us, it is incomplete pass.
Yeah, the handoff on a jet sweep when they're 15, causing the quarterback to fumble the ball to the Commanders and went down the biggest swing of the Buccaneers game. It was a nip and tuck game all the way, and Mayfield says, comes back to me, timing it up correctly. He said the first 1 year it happened and so on.
Oh, I just saw it. It was it was a jet sweep from under center.
Okay.
That's hard to. Yeah, I'm watching it here. It's on both players. There was a rule of thumb that I always. Ooh, that wasn't a very good pocket by him either. That's on the receiver, in my opinion. He clamps down before Baker even puts it in there. But anyway, that shouldn't happen in the National Football League.
Yeah. Okay, just want to get your thoughts about that. Also, coming up later, we'll have Franz Beard, and we'll talk to him about what he saw in basketball. The new rankings are out. Auburn's number 1, Shane. Auburn now.
Yeah, Auburn's very good. Janai Broome, though, we don't know how long he's going to be out. It's probably going to be several weeks, but they got dudes everywhere. Good win for the Gators, though, in Arkansas.
Very big win, and I can't tell you if you don't know how hard it is to win on the road, especially there, and when they were coming back at him and they kept falling back and firing and going back, and they got some great play out of their bigs. I think their bigs on a night when some of your guys can't hit the threes, and they're just not falling. I love it when the big good dudes come through like that. They're really impressive, and I love their team. They're fun to watch. Now we'll see where they're going to go next, Shane. They got a very tough couple months coming up here.
Well, they got Missouri tomorrow night, and then they
Right.
play Texas and South Carolina. I think it's so they should, in the perfect world, on paper, you should beat all three of those teams.
Yeah. Sure.
You have to win your home games. I said on my show, the teams that are losing their home games right now, they are parring or bogeying par fives. You cannot do that. You can't. And Mississippi State lost at home to Kentucky. Can't do that. A&M lost at home to Alabama. Those are games you have to win on your home court.
Yeah, I hear you. All right, so I want to talk about. I know you hate the transfer portal, but now this story is kind of crazy. But obviously, Georgia's quarterback, he's coming back, and when he went to the portal and going to Miami, and they say the money is really amazing. I've heard everything from $4 million upwards. Shane, what did you say on your show this morning about that?
I think we talked about that on Friday. We didn't talk about it at all today. Good for Miami if they think Carson Beck is their answer. I don't know why anybody would pay. The money is just stupid. You're never going to convince me that any of these kids are worth it. I don't give a damn how much schools make off of TV revenue and all that stuff. They need to get their asses in gear when this season is over, after next Monday night, and say, okay, if we're going to have a transfer portal, you can do it one time and one time only. If you do it after that, you're going to sit out like back in the old days.
Yeah.
And if you're going to sign an NIL deal, you are signing it for 3 years.
Yeah.
And if you break that contract, you are now having to sit out another year, and then you can go into the portal. This is nothing like the National Football League. I'm tired of people talking about it because it's not even close. You cannot sign with the Chicago Bears and then say, you know what? End of the year, I think I'm going to go play for the Rams. No, you're under contract, people, for X amount of years. Mm-hmm. Now, if a team releases you, then you become a free agent and you're welcome to negotiate and find a good place. But it is just total freaking nonsense. I saw a thing, buddy. There are 5 players in the entire Atlantic Coast Conference. Think about this. I think I'm going to say this right. And there's 16 teams in the ACC now?
I guess. I don't know, Shane.
Okay, well, regardless, let's just say there's 12. There's 5 guys that are been with their school for all 5 years. Only 5 guys in the entire league. It's ridiculous. I will never like it. Nobody will ever convince me. I said it from day one. It's ridiculous. And good for the kids, good for all people that whatever, but I'm against it and will always be against it.
Got a new offer for you here. You ready? $2.5 million, no recruiting off campus, golf every Tuesday, and no cut contract.
I'm in. But the problem is you can't do that. There's no off days during college football season.
Yeah.
However, I could negotiate maybe after the Friday walkthrough.
Yeah.
Go play.
Yeah.
On the home games. No.
Well, I tell you what, you wouldn't resist it. You know it's in your blood. Although today I got the news, and this is a different occupation. A friend of mine walked out of the business and quit and loves it. And I thought I'd really like to have him back writing and be on the radio and all that. He walked away from it. He said he's never missed a lick. He didn't watch any of the football games. The past 3 weeks he spent his lifetime in it, and he doesn't miss it. I guess it can be that way. I think I'd go crazy. I'd have to have something to do. So.
Oh, I love watching sports. I don't watch it as much. But I get my passion and my competitiveness out of my golf group because we play real golf and get after it. I mean, it was a grind for 3 straight days in the cold this weekend. But it was fun. I love it. That's what I
pay for $5,000 too, so it makes a lot of difference.
Say again?
So y'all play for $5,000. So
we were playing. Well, this was our end of the year tournament. And there was more money than that in the pot. I will tell you that.
Yeah. All right. So here's the deal. A new add-on for your offer. Membership to Augusta National.
Oh, we're in now. That's the selling point. But those are impossible to come about.
It's like that old joke. I hate to use this, but about the woman who was at the bar and the guy offered her $100 to go to bed with him, and she slapped his face, and so he offered her $1,000. She said no. He offered her $5,000, and she said, "Well, maybe." And he says, "Well, now we've established what you are. It's just a matter of getting the price."
That's funny. That is funny.
Anyway, all right, let me do this spot. Come back. I want you to talk a little hoop with me. Tell me your favorite players on this basketball team, what you like about it. We'll bring Fran Spirit aboard to tell us a little bit. Gators are number 5. The top 10 is loaded with the SEC teams. It's going to be an interesting basketball season. I still want football to be around, but I'll take a little basketball. So stand by while I tell the world about my friends at Meldon Law. They are really in this thing in terms of they're the only official injury law firm for the University of Florida. They're big fans. They, of course, are great at what they do. And they have 4 locations to serve you. Jeffrey Meldon, of course, is always out there trying to raise money for the band and get bands for their trips, which he did, and et cetera. Couldn't find better people than that. Love the Gators. And by the way, you have to remind him sometimes when he's on the air, Jeffrey, you're in the law business. What do you want to tell us about it? 4 locations to serve you. Ocala, Gainesville, Lake City, and now Williston. And they'll take care of your business there. If you have a lawsuit that you have out there that you're trying to get resolved and you can't get any action on it, you want to review just like you do when you want a second opinion in medicine, call them at Meldon Law. They'll take care of it. They'll try to get you in the right place. That's what they do. Meldon Law, they won't back down. All right, hoops. Well, I don't know. It's going to be a very interesting offseason. And this guy's covered them pretty closely. And I've got my favorite players. Who's your favorite one, Shane?
I wouldn't say I have a favorite. I'm a huge Walter Clayton guy, man. I think he's a phenomenal athlete. He hasn't played up to his potential or hasn't played any great games the last few weeks, but I like all these players. They're fun to watch. I like all 4 guards. I like the 4 bigs. I love Elijah Martin. I mean, another great athlete from the state of Mississippi, buddy. What can you say?
Yeah, I'm good with him. Well, Denzel Aberdeen's pretty good 4th guard too, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, give Todd Golden and his staff a lot of credit, man. They've constructed a very versatile team that can do a lot of things. Even if they get in foul trouble, they're going to be okay.
Well, here's the deal. Here's a few nuggets. I'm going to bring the maestro in here. He's back there in the back doing something. I don't know what, plotting some overthrow. Here's 3 little nuggets I got from the game. Gators 17-game winning streak of 70-plus points, second longest in team history. Todd Golden's the first Florida coach to beat John Calipari in back-to-back road games. Wow. And Walter Clayton, your man, has a 3 in 39 straight games, tying Lee Humphrey for number 2. How about that stuff, Fran Spirit?
Well, it's a pretty good basketball team we got here. I've said all along, I think they've got Final Four potential, and I'm not going to back down off that. Once you get to March, a lot of strange things can and do happen. But we do know this. They have the possibility to get there. once you get to March and get in the NCAA tournament, the best team isn't always the one that wins the national championship. It's the one that won 6 games. That's it. You can have one bad night and you're done for the year. This team could string 6 good games together. And the reason they could is because, as we saw, for example, the other night, the concept was take Walter Clayton Jr. out of the ball game. Offensively, they did a pretty good job out of it. They didn't take him out of the game defensively because he played a great game defensively. They didn't take him out of the game as far as passing. He made great passes and great decisions. And that's the thing. You can take guys, certain elements out of the game for some of these guys. For example, you can take the 3-point shooting away from Walter. They got other guys that can shoot. You can take Ruben out of the game, but Condon can still block shots. So can Sam Alexis. Tommy Hawk can do everything. Denzel Aberdeen is a Swiss Army knife. Will Richard, my gosh, what an ace of a defender he has become. Shane just hit the nail on the head. It's a well-constructed team because they've covered the bases. Okay, you want to take this away, we can do this. You want to take this away, we can do that. This is about as well a constructed team as there is in the country. And I really believe that.
Yeah. I think you're right about that. Shane, what I love about Condon is he does all the dirty work. And he also can shoot the 3 from out there, as we saw the other night. He can block out and then get a board and hand it off, go out and spot up and hit a 3. He does a terrific job of the offensive rebound is the thing of a beauty for Florida, especially with Condon. He knows just where to get, how to body up. He's got a good touch on the ball. He can handle. My gosh, he's just a really good player. And I think he's probably still got a ways to go, Shane. And when he does get to that particular position, I think he's going to be one of the great players that Florida's ever had. Am I wrong, Shane?
Well, I guess time will tell. I between Alex Condon and Thomas Houck, they work really well. I mean, as you mentioned, the thing about them is they're so active and athletic and long, and they can shoot from the 3. Sam Alexis and then Ruben Chinyelu. Chinyelu reminds me of Patrick Young. Not a great scorer, but extremely physical and can rebound, right?
He can.
So it's, they all do something well. And like Fran said, if this guy's not on tonight or they're trying to take this guy away, other guys have so much skill that they can take over the game as well. And I mean, they've been fun to watch. I mean, it's I think they can go really deep because they have so many different ways to beat you.
Mm-hmm.
And that defense does travel, and the rebound travels a lot too. I think their offensive rebound is nobody better in the country what they do. Are they number 1 in that department, Shane? I mean, France?
Not in offensive rebounding. They're like number 3 there, but they're number 1 in overall rebounding.
Yeah.
Number 3 offensive rebounding. Here's the thing that's very interesting that I don't think a lot of people realize, particularly because of that Kentucky game, because Kentucky just absolutely wore them out. But these guys are, when it comes to defending the 3-point shot, they're right there among the national leaders. I think they're like 3rd, maybe 4th nationally in 3-point field goal defense. And the other thing about there's 3-point defense. All right. That's one thing. Florida right there is number 3, giving up 27%. But here's the other thing about it. They're only giving it so far. Teams have only been able to attempt 367 shots from the 3-point line. Divide that by 16 ball games, and you wind up with about 22, 23 3-point shots a game. You're limiting the opportunities other teams have to hit the threes. Todd's far more concerned with limiting the number of shots than he is the number of makes, because sometimes teams are going to go into a shooter's coma and just make a bunch. But if you can limit the number of shots, you limit the damage. They're really, really good at taking that away. Larry Shyatt used to have this philosophy that when you start get into your defensive stance, your heels are against the 3-point line. And I like that philosophy a lot. When you force teams out like that, you're making them take longer 3-pointers, for one thing. But the second thing that you're doing is you're making them start their offense out an extra 2 or 3 feet farther than what they would like to. That means that 2-foot baby hook becomes a 5-foot baby hook. And as you guys know, every foot farther away from the basket that you get, the shot becomes that much more difficult to make. So the philosophies are there and they're sound. The execution so far is really good and very sound. We've got a good basketball team on our hands, the best we've had in a long time. I think these guys could wind up being as good as that last team that made the Final Four, which was I believe it was 2014.
Yeah, I want to comment on Dan Bond's thing here. Watching the bigs, and they are almost interchangeable. These bigs with the guards. No, both those are 4 guards and what have you. But the bigs, I don't think I've seen that much good passing between the bigs since 04.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
Yeah. Oh, you're absolutely right. Did you happen to see, it was like maybe the second or third shot that the Gators made from the field against Arkansas? Condon's got the ball down here. He reaches around the guy's legs, bounce pass into Will Richard, layup. Wow. I mean, how many 6'11", 240-pound kids, and I think he's about 7'1", but I don't think they list him at his true height. I think he's about 7'1", to be realistic. But how many guys that size
can do that,
have the skill set to make a bounce pass like that?
Yeah,
at the same time, how many guys have we seen since the days of Noah and Horford who'd yank down the rebound, put the ball on the deck, and break out of there and start the fast break?
And lead the break, yeah. Shane, on your show, are you getting a lot of calls about basketball? You get more than usual? What's been the response, Shane?
Yeah, I mean, we talk a little bit of everything, buddy. But yeah, people are excited about the basketball team. No question about that. We still talk football. We talk baseball. We talk golf. We talk softball. We talk it all.
Softball starting the year number 1.
Say that one more time.
Softball starting the year number 1.
I didn't hear you, Franz.
Shane,
softball
I got
something
something on my hand
1.
here, right here, my face.
Tell Buddy that the softball isn't an elite program in the national scene.
Talking about, I'm going to say this. I've said it.
Buddy, preseason, number 1 in America. Ain't no damn Oklahoma Sooners. Ain't no Texas Longhorns.
They were not playing. They lost 3 in a row, as I remember. And I said, softball right now is not elite. That's all I said. And they jumped me like, oh, my gosh, what have you said? I mean, look, I understand. I didn't say the coach wasn't elite.
I just wanted to make sure I heard what Franz said correctly. I wasn't sure.
No, Shane. I'm going to get you back in the morning, okay? I got something special for you in the morning, pal.
Franz, you don't know this. The people on my show give Buddy hell about that, calling Florida softball not elite.
Well,
I've got big shoulders. I can take the heat. I'm all right. Bring it.
You take over the last 10 years. The only team in the country that has a better record than the Florida Gators, Oklahoma.
Yep.
Baseball, you take over the last 10 years. Best team in America, Florida. Track and field, men's and women's, best team of the last 10 years, Florida Gators. We started what I call, it's January 1st. Let the winning season begin because we could be looking at, realistically speaking, softball has a legitimate chance to win a national championship. Baseball has a legitimate chance to win a national championship this year. Mouse always wins one or two, and he may win three. He may win three this year. Golf is going to be
Golf
better.
has a chance this year in men's golf. They got a good team.
Yes, they do. Women's are going to start the year far better than they have in a while.
Gymnastics, they had their first meet.
Oh yeah, gymnastics has a girl who transferred in from UCLA who had 5 perfect 10s last year. Skylar Sloan, who got injured in the Olympic trials and would have been like the number 2 gymnast on that team, is back. They hope to have her in full skills on all four apparatus by March.
Yeah. And
if they've got her to go with Leanne Long, Victoria Wynn, and that whole crew, Skylar, Anya Pilgrim, this team, they could win it all, and they really could win it all.
They are.
It's gonna be a fun year.
Yeah, I want to just do this real fast. I want to ask you guys a question. I'm going to bring in Kevin Brockway to answer. It's just one question for us all before Shane gets his milk and cookies and goes to bed. I want to tell you first, though, about our fine friends at Titan MRI. It's a new company now. They got more options for you, and they can take your insurance now. They can do a lot of things for you. And if you're in market for a MRI or a CAT scan, I hardly recommend that you contact them. They have locations now to serve you in 4 locations. They're going to throw on 3 and soon to have one in Ocala. And they make it the experience for you. Shane, how many MRIs did you have when you played? A lot, right?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah. What was your?
I've had a few at Titan MRI as well.
Oh, have you? Okay.
Even when I haven't been playing.
Okay.
Things hurt, buddy.
Okay. Well, they I've not had one there, but I'm told that they make the experiences, as painless as possible by giving you a bigger cage or whatever. They have bigger cages. They also now have. They didn't used to be able to take all insurances, but they now have a new program there, and they are really heading toward Marion County. They're going to be having a new office location there, which means they're going to be all up and down in north central Florida. And I heartily let me just get this new heading here for them. I recommend that you try them. Let me see here. This is a. I want to mention. Let's see here. It's called Titan MRI and Imaging. I want to get that right because the former owner came back and now is involved. Joe Colorio started Highfield in 1997. Now he's back. They're running it, and it's called Titan MRI and Imaging. So check them out. It's your choice. You can go to Ocala, Marion County, etc. Area in there and take it from Shane. Titan MRI is worth mentioning to your friends if they need one. Okay, here's Kevin. Here's the question. Good evening to Kevin Brockway from the Gainesville Sun. How you doing, Kev? Can I put your ears on, Kevin? Hello, Kevin. Put your ears on. Can't hear you. All right. While we're waiting on Kevin, I'll ask you guys this particular question, and then we'll bring Kevin on. The basketball team will only be successful if they make it to the what? Shane, what do they have to do?
Oh, I don't really look at that. I know everybody's goal in college basketball is to make it to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
I think that's your number one goal. But I mean, if they got bounced in the first round, would it be disappointing? Absolutely. But I don't see that happen. I think they're going to make a deep run. I think they're too talented and too good of a basketball team. But as Fran said earlier, ball's got to bounce your way, breaks got to go your way to keep advancing. Because a lot of times the best teams don't really win. Sometimes they do. But I think they're a team that's got a lot of moving parts, a lot of pieces that if something's not going well, the other part can take over and win the game. So I don't know if I answered your question at all. I'm not one of these.
You didn't answer the question.
No, I'm not one of these. I'm not one of these that says if they don't get there, it's disappointing or whatever. I think it would be very disappointing if they don't make the NCAA tournament. But I think they're going to do that.
Okay, I got you. All right, let's see if Kevin's got his ears on now. Kevin, can't hear you. You got to turn your mic on. All right, while we're waiting, Fran.
They've got to at least make it to the second weekend. Once you get to the second weekend, buddy,
yeah,
all bets are off because you know you can have stuff happen. Like Kevin was there in 2011. We were in New Orleans, and Jamie Lucky got a case of the red ass when Brad Stevens jumped his case because of a bad call, and he proceeded to get 2 quick fouls on Vern Macklin before Billy could get him out of the game. And at that point in time, Vern Macklin, I think, already had 20 points in the first half and they had nothing that could stop him. So you can get stuff like that. An official makes a bad call at a critical moment. A guy can sprain an ankle, etc., like that. Yeah, you look at Florida in 2006. Corey Brewer comes up with an incredible offensive rebound and shot to put the Gators past Georgetown. The Gators were, teetering on the verge of getting eliminated right there in the Sweet 16 game, and Corey Brewer makes the play. So much stuff can happen. You just got to get to the second. You got to get to the second weekend, and then a lot of it's a little bit of luck, a lot of skill, and some coaching thrown in too.
Yeah. Well, one thing I think that won't waylay them is injury. I don't know if I've ever seen a deeper basketball team in Florida. I mean, they got depth. They got depth everywhere, and they're interchangeable. And they can take a bad night, when they get it, when the big stars aren't hitting their shots, and find a way to make it up in other ways. So I don't think that injury is going to be one of those that'll take them out. Do you guys?
Injuries can do it to you. It just takes the wrong injury. If Walter Clayton were to go down with an injury right now, Denzel's really good, but then that leaves you with 3 guards, and you got a 4-man rotation. That's pretty tough. That would be a pretty tough loss to take, buddy. But barring injury, like you said, if they can keep that 8-man rotation intact, they're going to be pretty good.
One of the things I like is that the road is tough, but the bottom line is that they can play on the road, which I like a lot. When you're on the road like that, Shane, you're playing well on the road. It's tough to beat.
Yeah, anytime you win a road game in this league, it's a huge plus. I I firmly believe they'll win their next 3 games for sure if they just play halfway decent. But you cannot lose if you're one of the premier teams in the league right now. You cannot lose to a team you're not supposed to lose to at home.
Yeah.
You just can't.
You got to win. If you can hold serve at home and go 9-0 at home, and then you win 3 games on the road out of 9, go 3-6 and 9. You're going to be 12. You're going to have 12 wins in the SEC, and I guarantee you're going to be a top 4 seed. If you go 12-6 in this league this year, you're going to be a top 4 seed.
All right. So how many games can they win total? Will they win total? You guys think? Do you think they can go 25? France, how many can they win?
Well, they're 2-1 in the SEC right now. So to win 25 ball games means that they've got to go 9-6 the rest of the way. Yeah, they can win 25 ball games.
Yeah.
I'd be disappointed if they won fewer than 25, wouldn't you, Kevin?
I think Kevin's got his mic's not working. He can't not working for whatever reason he's having. I'm sorry, it's very frustrating, Kevin. I know when that happens. Shane,
give us hand signals. 1 is yes, 2 is no.
Sorry about that, brother. I know sometimes it happens, and you tried to log on. It's just some particular little thing. Shane never has any problems on his show.
Nope.
Oh, man. And Shane's getting sleepy. He wants to get his milk and cookies, go to bed. So, all right, final thoughts, Shane. Football. It's here they're hitting the recruiting road really hard. Rob Sale and the head man, they got their eyes on a prize that's a big star offensive lineman, I think from Tampa. They're going after him hard. Would you like to? Would you think that'd be a good place to start with a couple of prize offensive linemen, Shane?
Well, they're probably recruiting for next year, right?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, obviously you have to do it, but so much can happen in today's world, especially between now and early signing period in December of next year. So we're talking about a year away almost. Look, you got to go out and recruit, but I wouldn't worry about following it if I was anyone. I mean, closely, because things can change quickly.
I've been very critical of not being able to identify the offensive coordinator. And you'll convince me that it's going to be Belly no matter what they call anybody. Rob Sale has that title. But I also have drawn back a little bit, realizing that they have got to establish a running game to run their offense. They got 3 running backs. They're going to rotate them in and out. They'll run once they are able to establish the run game, then their passing lanes open up into play action because so much is based off of play action. They've got to be able to run the ball. Now, Coach Spurrier always said pass first. What do you think about that philosophy, Shane?
Well, no, Billy wants to run the football. That's what he believes in. Different people have different philosophies, and I think they do a really good job scheming up the runs, and that's why you see crossing routes and post routes wide open all the time, because when you're running the football, they're not going to play zone. They're going to play a lot of man coverage to get extra people in the box. And then it's just hard to play man coverage in today's world as well. So, look, they still may hire an offensive coordinator. I don't know. But again, I don't know who people want to hire. Do you want the Notre Dame offensive coordinator? Do you want the Penn State offensive coordinator? I would say hell no. Did you watch them play offense? Good God.
Well, I mean, they want the guys who are going to be head coaching jobs in the NFL. A lot of coordinators are going to get it this year. So,
I mean, look, Russ Callaway helps a lot with the offense. Yeah. I know he's very involved in it. But I don't know. I don't worry about it. I try to tell people, and look, maybe I look at it the wrong way, but I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. There's not a damn thing I can do about it. You can do about it. Friends can do about it, or any fan listening. You just got to accept whatever there is and go support them. And, they had a good run there at the end. 4 straight wins, right?
They did, yes. And they've identified the right guys as their players, as their running backs.
And, buddy, I can promise you this. If they do hire an offensive coordinator, there's going to be people raising hell every game about play calling. Book it.
Yeah,
Book it. Because that is part of the job description. Because people think every play is supposed to work. It doesn't. It doesn't at all.
Well, I must say one thing about the genius Sarkisian. I do think he's a heck of a play caller. Maybe
he's unbelievable.
But he did make a statement, and I know how he meant to make it, but it came out was, well, that play was schemed up. If we'd have made our blocks, we'd have scored. That's every play.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Well, not every play's designed to score. But you have a responsibility. And like I said, we don't know. Like I said, if the guy, maybe 2 people miss their block and allow a couple of Ohio State guys to run for it. I don't know. But if they score there, nobody's saying a word. And I understand why people didn't like it. But like I told you at the beginning of the show, how many times have you and Fran sat on these shows for the last 15 years and people complained about Urban? Why does Urban run right in the A gaps and get stuffed? Why does Muschamp run the ball up the middle? Why does Billy run the ball up the middle? Because there's a reason why they're doing it. Just sometimes it doesn't work.
The best thing I saw, I forget which coach it was, somebody, one of those conservative NFL teams, he said, people don't get it. Sometimes 0 is a good number to have on a running play.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's no question about that.
You keep running, as Shane will tell you, because you have to make people commit to stopping the run. If you want the passing game to go, they have to respect the running game, period. They don't respect it. If you don't even try to run it, then they'll never respect it.
Yeah. All right, so Shane, the new offer is you get a Tesla with this deal too.
I do not want a Tesla.
Okay, well the deal's off then.
Yes, I could give 2 craps about a Tesla.
What do you want, Shane? Cadillac?
No, we've already got it figured out.
Driver.
I can play golf twice a week, maybe once a week. I have now a membership at Augusta National. That somebody's going to have to give me a private plane to fly to Augusta because I don't want to drive there.
Okay.
But again,
can you hear us now?
But again, buddy.
Yeah.
Hey, who's here? He's there.
Yeah.
Kevin made it. I can promise you, if I was calling plays, people would be raising hell about this call and that call.
Yeah, okay, Shane. If you go back down after that offer, I'm not bringing any more. All right?
All right, buddy. Y'all have a good night.
Talk to you in the morning, I guess, if you want me on the show.
Yep, you're on it with Mike Morgan. He's calling the game tomorrow night, so he's going to be on.
I like Mike. I talked to him recently. So, all right, Shane, in the morning.
Fans, make sure you tell Buddy that softball team's elite. Number 1 in America, buddy.
Got something in my face right here.
Number 1 in the country.
Yeah, that's
buddy.
right.
Buddy. I'm gonna get you a T-shirt, buddy.
I'm gonna bring up some stuff I got on you. I got a file over here on you and Shane. I've just been waiting to spring it on you, buddy.
All right.
I got a bunch of stuff. I got a bunch of stuff. I got proof and I got video. So just remember, okay?
Good night.
See you. All right. So look, he's here. Thank you for persevering, Kevin.
No worries, guys. Yeah. So I would say that Sweet 16, Elite 8 would be quite the season for this team. You play for seeding right now, and right now, most of the bracketologists have them as a 2 seed, and that makes it an easier path. Now, I know anyone can beat anyone. It's based off of matchups. A lot of this is based off of matchups, but the higher seed you are, that you set yourself up for an easier path. most of the time. So I think that you got to continue to play for that. You win the SEC this year, you're probably a one. So I mean that's got to be the goal, and that's what's in front of you.
Well, that 5 spot's kind of a sweet spot right now, isn't it? Be at 5 in the AP poll today. I see still they're sitting 3 right there,
and 4 in USA Today, which they pay my bill, so I have to tell the coach. So a little bit higher there.
Yeah.
And they're in a good they're in a good spot, buddy. They've earned it. Like Francis mentioned, this is a deep team, 1 through 8. So there's not much of a drop off. I agree that I think Clayton would be a pretty hard injury to overcome. And I think Todd likes that 4-player post rotation too. And we saw the damage that was done when Handlogden left early in the year. But you go in the tournament injuries free, and you're going to set yourself up, pretty well for a run here, I think, with what they built. And listen, there's some continuity on this team too. With Condon, Richard, Clayton, you got a little bit of a core there, a year older, a year more mature, and you can see that chemistry on the court. I think that could go a long way too.
I dare say, Franz and Kevin, no other team in the country I know of could bring their 4th guard off the bench and have him impact the game like Denzel Aberdeen does.
It's really hard, particularly when you factor in that Denzel can also play the wing. Walter can play the wing. Elijah Martin can play the point. And you got 3 guys who are capable of playing the point. Now, Walter obviously is, I think, the best point guard among the bunch, but you got 3 different guys who could be the primary ball handler. You got in Martin and Clayton and Richard, you got 3 guys who can go into shooter's comas and not miss and just all of a sudden be on fire. And then you look down there at Denzel. Denzel's like a Swiss Army knife. He'll play anywhere. So I like that 4-man rotation. But they haven't had an injury so far. They haven't had to have a guy miss a ball game so far. So, I got to tell you, Coach Wooden liked an 8-man rotation. He didn't like any more than that. And
I was just going to ask that question. Could they play 9?
Yeah, well, they play 8.
7. He played a 7-man rotation.
Yeah.
When it got to March, I think in some instances less is more. Now you got to have your guys have to be equipped for it. But I kind of agree with you, Fran. 7 or 8, I think, is a pretty good place to be in terms of rotation.
Where are you going to sit down?
Well, you're not talking about sitting anybody down here. It's just that.
Well, if you got a 7-man rotation, you're going to sit 2 guys.
Well, you're only playing 8 right now. So.
But I mean, okay.
I'm saying Billy used to play that, but I think 8 is probably appropriate with this team because I think Alexis brings you something off the bench, and I think Kevin
played great.
And I think having the 4 posts is good just for fatigue and foul trouble. Hey, listen, 3 people fouled out of the Arkansas game, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And yet they still managed to finish that game off.
Joe Lindsay.
I'm going to tell you, I don't complain about officiating, but, boy, I've seen some badly officiated games recently.
Most of them with Joe Lindsay on the whistle.
I mean, look, I know they have to let some things go, but holy mackerel. Some guys are getting clubbed. And, they'd like to say, mano a mano, let them play. But, golly, Moses, you alter a guy's shot. Anyway, I'm not going to get on that. That's your bandwagon, France. All right, so we do think, I think we agree that anything less than the Elite 8 would be disappointing. Am I right, Kevin?
Yeah, and listen, I mean, but anything can happen. You see that in the tournament. But that being said, you set yourself up with a good seed. You should be able to get that far. Now, listen, we saw early in Billy Donovan's tenure, he lost to low, he was a high seed. What was it, a 3 seed or 2 seed once, lost in Tampa to Michigan State. So sometimes you can get that matchup in that round of 32 game that's a little bit wonky. But for the most part, if you get a high seed, which Florida is heading to now, a top 3 seed, you're going to put yourself in pretty good position to make it in the second weekend.
France?
I think the second week, like I said, get to the second weekend, then you start. It becomes win 4 games, and it's a lot easier winning 4 than winning 6. But you got your first 2 behind you, and you only have to win 4 more. And really, you only have to win 2, because then you get to the Final Four. And again, you have to take this thing. I think you take the NCAA tournament in 2-game increments. Your first 2 ball games get you to the second weekend. Your next 2 ball games get you to the Final Four. And you can't go looking beyond that right now. So success to me is getting to the second weekend. And if you get to the second weekend, go 2-0 and get to the third.
Here's something else that would be greatly successful too, and something that Billy Donovan placed a preview on. This is as hard as the SEC has ever been. Win the SEC. That'd be a nice accomplishment, a nice feather in your cap too.
Oh.
Florida hasn't won an SEC championship in basketball since 2014. It would kind of break that football basketball schneid. How about go out, be better than Auburn, be better. Then you would set yourself up with the number 1 seed. Win the SEC regular season. That would be, or win the SEC tournament. That would be a nice feather, which they came close to doing last year. That would be a nice feather in this group's cap as well.
I'm not so sure they don't do it last year if Micah doesn't go down. Last year, not having him, that was such an emotional blow to this team. I don't know how. They didn't recover well from that. But had he played the whole ball game, they could have won it last year. I think they could win it this year. And of course, with Janai Broome down for however long, high ankle sprains are weird things. We've seen guys come back from them in record time. We've also seen guys that have it, and all of a sudden they're done for 6 weeks and 7 weeks. You just can't tell about what's going to happen with that. And are they going to do something like tightrope surgery on him to get him better? We've seen how that works with people. There's a lot of variables out there, and right now I would say Florida is probably in as good a position as anybody in the country to make the Final Four.
All right, I'm gonna give you guys a multiple choice going out. 2 things. You pick one or the other. If you both pick the same one, I'll take it myself. But the question is it possible that because of his problem he's having right now, that Tide Golden is more hyper-focused than ever and maybe coaching better? That's one. Secondly, is it a big deal? I don't mean a huge deal, that Deshaun Purdy, the guy from Charlotte who just committed to Florida, now is back in the portal and they're looking for a backup quarterback? I don't know. So pick the one you like, Kevin. Go first.
Well, I think this Purdy situation is a little strange, but if he thought that he was going to come in and, be guaranteed the job over DJ Lagway, which is what I was hearing, that's a little strange to me. And, it's one thing to say you go and compete for the job, but I think that, that was certainly a little odd. And, go out, you can probably find another quarterback, but, find a guy that's going to at least, come in and realize, what the actual situation is and whose team it is. And I think DJ Lagway has proved that until proven otherwise, it's going to be his team next season.
I think maybe he thought he was Brock Purdy. France, go ahead. Take the bat.
I think Todd is very, very focused right now. I think I'm of the opinion that if they had the goods on Todd, we'd already know it by now. Because I think Florida, for one thing, if they had if they had anything real substantial on Todd, Florida would have already pushed it to get it out, get it over with, because you don't want to get into the season a long way and then all of a sudden have your guy go. That would be disastrous. Far easier to recover from it the sooner you get it over with. I think Florida has enough clout to get this thing out in the open. And I think if they had it, they would already have it. And the second thing I'll look at is this. Todd Golden's attorney, Mr. Turkle, down in Tampa, won $150 million for Hulk Hogan. They say that when all is settled with Sarah Palin, who he represents, the New York Times is probably going to be paying about $300 or $400 million. So Todd lawyered up with the right guy. And this is a guy who, by reputation, will not take a case that he thinks there's even a snowball's chance in hell that he will lose.
I only try to get $50,000 from my roof from Farmers Insurance. Right?
You need to hire this guy, buddy.
I've got a guy who's really good. My Jeffrey Meldon guy got me somebody. Guys, great job tonight. Kevin, I'm glad you finally got on. Well, your perseverance, sometimes it's what it takes, like everything in life, right? Great job, friends. Great job, Kevin. You guys have a good week. We'll talk to you later, right?
Thank you.
See ya.
All right. Brant Beard and Kevin Brockway joining us as they do quite often here on the program. And we will wrap it up by telling you about our friends. Hold on 1 second. All right, everybody good to go. At Registrar Medical Research, this is one of my favorite things to talk about, and they're my favorite people to talk about. Because, when people are just inherently and do good things or good people, it goes a long way. And they do it not just once or twice, but continually do good things. I'm really fond of the people who have who own the company, started the company. That would be the wife of Scott Brantley, who would be the lovely Mary Brantley, and her good friend Joe Sorrentino. They went to high school together, and down in Fort Lauderdale. And they started this company, and they've grown it, and it's become a major force in getting information about medical issues. They're going to get this information to the right people so they can do these clinical researches, get the data, and send it off to the companies who will then know how to better treat us with medications. That's why it's so important that you listen to what I'm saying. If you can possibly find your way to do this, join in and see if you qualify for one of the medical clinical trials. I did try to qualify for one and had to pull out the last second because of a schedule conflict. But if you do, you can be compensated for time and travel. You'll learn more about yourself and more about the company, about the people that you live around, and you'll be helping them, and you'll be helping yourself, and you'll be helping RenStar help us get better health. So I encourage you, go to renstar.net, look it up. They're going to have all kinds of trials coming up. They've done over 800 of those trials, and the information is like pure gold for us in terms of getting the information we know about what our health is like in this area. So check them out. RenStar Medical Research, seeking tomorrow's answers to the health questions of today. I thank our guest tonight, Shane Matthews. Always good. Don't forget, listen tomorrow morning. I'll be on with Shane at 8 a.m. Eastern on Pot Up with Matthews. Also, the inimitable Franz Beard is just about as good in basketball as anybody you want. And our buddy Kevin Brockway from the Gainesville Sun, all coming to you tonight, courtesy of our sponsors, particularly tonight on Meldon Law Monday. Have a great one. We're back on Tuesday. Tomorrow night, we've got special guest co-host Loren Meadows will be here along with Rob and the gang. So check them out. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Back at you.